Hello, Blue Jays, and welcome to The Nest Stories about Life After Manor College. I'm your host, Kelly Pfeiffer, Vice President of Marketing Communications, and this is the best part of my day. My hope is that this podcast will encourage, inform, and inspire you, making you feel confident that at Manor College, you belong here always. What I've learned from talking with hundreds of Manor alumni over my 12 years of working for the college is that everyone has their own story and that Manor's influence, big or small, remains this constant thread and connection to each other. Before we get to today's guest, it is time for a segment called Did You Know? For today's Did you know that over 60% of Manor College students are first generation college students? This means that they are the first in their families to attend and graduate from college. Just so we are clear, what does being a first generation college student actually mean? What if your cousin or your sibling went to college before you? Are you still first gen? These are questions we hear often, and I wanted to make sure we all understand. Yes, as long as you are in the first generation of your family that attends college, you and your siblings and your cousins are all in the same generation. So just because they are older than you doesn't mean that you are not first gen. You still are, and your cousins and your siblings are as well, because you're in that same generation together. This is a big deal and something that we talk about a lot at Manor. I love hearing stories from our alumni and our students who are first generation college students about what it means to them to be first gen, because usually it carries a lot of weight. So, one of our Manor alumni, China McKinney, she graduated with her degree in pre nursing in 2023. China is the oldest of 12 kids. I remember China, she was a work study in our advancement office. So we would see her often in the offices. And I remember her saying that her brothers and her sisters would be really sad when she would leave the house to go to college and come to here to Manor. And that she really felt this big sense of like responsibility to go to college, to graduate, to show her siblings, like, this is what you do, this is what you can do, these are the possibilities. And we did a story on China when she was a student. And I looked back at that story recently. And one of the quotes that kind of grabbed me was this. She said, "I went to college for myself, but I felt like I had to go to college and finish for them too," referring to her 12 siblings. What what an honor it was for China to go to college, but really what an honor it was for us to have China as a student and now an alum who's she's going through a nursing school. I am honored to welcome today's alumni guest. Today, we have a truly inspiring guest joining us, Riley Stone. Riley is a Manor College graduate who's passionate about early childhood education and giving back to her community. She is a Northeast Philadelphia native and a Mass Charter High School alum. While at Manor, Riley earned her associate's degree in early childhood education in 2020. Riley's story is one of resilience and dedication. She was actively involved on campus, participating in the Early Childhood Education Club and contributing to Rotaract Club, work with the Eagles Autism Challenge. Perhaps most impressively, Riley founded her own charity, Funds for Families, after experiencing a traumatic brain injury at the age of 11. Through this charity, she crafts various items to raise money for gift cards, which are then distributed to families with children experiencing long term hospital stays at the Ronald McDonald House. These cards and crafts help families with essential expenses like meals, gas, and clothing during challenging times. Currently, Riley is determined to work in the field despite challenges she's faced. She credits Dr. Cherie Crosby Weeks at Manor College for making significant impact on her journey, providing invaluable support and guidance during her transition from college to adult life. We are thrilled to have Riley with us today. Welcome, Riley.
Hello.
Hi, thanks for being with us today. So, Riley, start us off by sharing with us, why did you choose Manor College and how did you find out about Manor College?
I found out about Manor College. My mom saw it in the newspaper and she thought it would be a good fit because it was small and easy to maneuver with everything that happened to me, my cognitive disability. And everybody was just so nice and easy to talk to. And the professors were it was just very small. And like I said, I wasn't getting lost there. and the professors were just very approachable and helpful.
That's great. Yeah, we hear often that the size really does make a difference in our students' lives and how they find out about us, and they're really attracted to kind of the small, close knit feel.
Mhm.
So that's good to hear that you also resonated with that.
Yeah, because it was
So describe to me your manor experience. What were you involved with? What was kind of a day in the life as a Riley at Manor like for you?
well, it was really, nice because something I always cherished was my pop when my grandfather was alive, he would drive me to Manor, and that was, like, his big thing of his day, like, it was a big
Mm,
exciting. So, he would drive me to school, and I was a commuter, so, um, and then I was my day was I would go to 2 classes, and then I would do 2 classes online at home. I just would go Tuesdays and Thursdays, and then the other days I would just do like my exercises at home. I had a pretty good thing going. I could go out with my dad. I could just like spend time with family, and then I was involved with the clubs, the early childhood club. Um, just got involved with the groups and helping out with Cherie. Cherie was very big on if you're going to be a teacher, you have to learn how to give back and you have to learn how to help families and children. So she instilled that in us and taught us that example. And the community engagement, like the student life, was very good. They taught us how to. They always had dances and events and kept us busy.
mhm. That's great, that's great. So it sounds like you had some family involvement, obviously you were doing your studies, and then you're also working on getting involved from a student perspective and giving back.
Yeah.
That's really cool, and I love the story you shared about your grandfather driving you and how that was a real highlight of his day.
Yeah.
I'm often pleasantly surprised that I see not the majority, but a number of students who get dropped off by family members, and I can think of one student in particular. She's a current student right now. Her name is Natasha Moore, and her dad drives her to campus every day,
Hmm.
and he seems to love it. He seems to like
Yeah.
that's a part of his
Like being
day, that's part of
involved. Yeah.
his. Yeah, so
Yeah.
it's really nice how, we kinda have that, it's a familiar family feel.
Yeah.
That's really cool to see. So, for you, what about education really, makes you passionate and lights that fire in you that you wanna be an educator?
I'm an all around like I like to help people. Like I like to um just be involved with people and have my hand. I'm very hands on. I like to just be like a big brother, a big sister, kind of like a mentor to people. Like I've been through a lot of people. I've been through a lot of like, especially it's hard being a girl and growing up, growing pains. So I try to be like a light to young people, to like you're gonna get there. It's okay. It's just you're gonna have it's gonna be a better day. Your future, your whole future ahead of you. Kind of trying to just teach them during these hard times, like I've been through it, and you like don't give up.
Mhm. Don't give up. Always good advice no matter what you're going through in life, and that's great. Um, so tell me, have you had a chance to work in an education setting, or are you still looking for that opportunity?
I work at my church a little bit, and I worked a little bit in education, and then I got kind of a little bit sick again.
Mm,
So right now I'm kind of like looking like that's why I kind of wanted to talk a little bit on like if you have like if you go one way, don't stress. Like you can always go a different way, and you can always do things on your own time. Like you don't have to worry about like what everybody else does. Like there's no timetable on what everybody's working, or there's no like work will always be there, and you can do things. You have to work. You have to take care of yourself first before you can help other people, and that's why I am with everything that happened to me when I was younger. I'm a little bit behind independence wise because I'm working on managing my medications better and learning how to do my doctor's appointments. So I'm going to Pretty soon I'll be going away to like a residential rehab for traumatic brain injuries, and they can help me with my independence, and they can help me just be able to kind of like get to work, and they'll help me with all that job support, but I'll be living on my own, but kind of like under some supervision a little bit until I'm ready to really fly. So everybody has their own path, I believe, and you get there when you get there.
Absolutely. I couldn't agree more. And I think it's really inspiring how you are self aware of kind of your own situation and that, I'm sure there's times of frustration where you want to be maybe somewhere further along in your journey and you're not, or just things like that. But how you're kind of being an encouragement to others and saying like it's okay, don't give up, be resilient,
Mhm.
and kind of finding what works for you. I mean, that's wonderful, and I think that resonates with a lot of people. In that everyone's path is different, and you might think, "Oh, in 2 years, I'm going to be here," but life doesn't always work like that. Sometimes life is life, and we have to be flexible,
Mhm.
but also, positive. So that's really good to hear. Thank you for sharing that. So, what would you say is some advice that you have for current Manor students who are maybe, they're in their semester right now, midterms are coming up soon, and some are, maybe struggling with academics and just kind of going through college life. What's some advice you would give as someone who's kind of been through it?
Um, I guess like what you said, like struggling with academics, like I really, really, the tutoring lab got me through it. Like I really spent hours and hours in that tutoring lab, and socializing, like being involved with the groups helped me. Um, just just being on time to class, and just keeping your hands involved, keeping your hands in there, because you never know when somebody, like, you're gonna down the road, like, "Hey, Sheree, by the way, like, is there any, early childhood opportunities?" Or you just wanna keep your, networking, and yeah.
Definitely. And not, I always tell alumni, students, whoever, not just networking with your professors while you're a student, but keep those connections alive post graduation. Stay connected to them on social media, LinkedIn, Facebook, because you just never know when paths are going to cross or when opportunities come to them, and then they want to spread it to their alumni and students. So making sure that that network is still strong, but foster those relationships when you're a student, obviously, and you know, seize your opportunities when you can because you're only a student for so long, so you kind of can use those opportunities. But that's great, Riley. I'm so happy to hear that you're working on things and you're trying to make sure set yourself up for the future and looking for that job support and independent living. I think those are really big, important steps for you, and I'm excited to kind of see where things go for you. Is there anything that you're really looking forward to in 2025?
I'm just looking forward to kinda, when I got sick and everything, people kinda started, I don't know, not in a bad way, in a good way, but people started helping me with a lot of things and wanting to be helpful, and so I'm looking forward to kind of finding my own,
Mhm.
and I want to try to just figure out what I like and who I am, and like I said, sometimes you go a different way. Sometimes what you went to school for might not be your thing, or might have got like just not like decided for. I did like I am very good with children, but I'm also very passionate about people with disabilities. I help with a camp every summer. It's called Ability Tree, and it's just amazing, amazing camp. And it's just they instill in you like people with disabilities are just people. It's not rocket science how to get along with them. You just got to talk to them. It's like one of my passions. One another thing I'm very passionate about.
Sure, of course, and I think it totally makes sense that, whatever you studied in college, that might not be where you go in the future, and that's probably more normal than not, I would say, honestly. I think a lot of people, they studied business and then they end up being a teacher, or they studied
Right.
education and then they end up going into nonprofit,
Yeah.
or, just, but I think
Right.
some of the core skills that you learn in a college
Yeah.
setting and some of those core memories that you make can still apply
Yeah.
to many different fields and focuses. So that's really cool to see. Well, thank you so much for talking to us today, Riley. I really appreciate you taking the time.
Thank you.
Thank you for tuning in today. If you like what you heard, listen and subscribe on Spotify or YouTube, and stay up to date with all new episodes by following Manor College on Instagram at Manor College. That's a wrap on another episode of The Nest, stories about life after Manor College. Remember, Blue Jays, you belong here always.